ease of doing business.
Yeah, there's no need for government to do business. Refinery is a business which should be left for individuals, corporate bodies to do. And in Nigeria, is which we know, where I am, where you are, where we all live, corruption will not allow government businesses to thrive. Bureaucracy will not allow it to thrive. If you say you want to have a refinery and government wants to control the refinery, it cannot thrive in Nigeria because of corruption and bureaucracies. We all, practically all Nigerians, I always argue, practically myself, you and all Nigerians are all criminals. About 95 to 97% of us are all criminals. Put us there, we might argue when we are not there, we are saints, but put us there, we are thieves. So we all have this tendency to steal.
So it is corruption that is not allowing the refineries to actually work.
That is a major problem, corruption. And if government now puts up a refinery, probably because some people doesn't have it, then there might be PPP arrangements where government can have partnership. But essentially, it is better to do total privatization of the refinery if we want to get it right, and particularly on this petrol.
But the federal government is also pumping money to actually rework that Port Harcourt refinery, and also has also promised that by December it will get
my brother, we sit here, I will still remind you, we sat here the other time, we discussed something like that about subsidy removal, and I can assure you that it will fail. It will fail because even if you're the president, you have good intention. What about the people, the support?
Is it not because we don't have enough refinery to actually refine this crude oil?
Yeah.
Because when you take a look at what we have in South Africa has close to 11 refineries working. We have also in Algeria, we have about 11 of them working. But here in Nigeria, where we also
don't have one
working.
So one is not working.
Could that not have been the reasons why we are also having this kind of challenge here?
Yeah, the major reason is that because we still have to export the crude and re-import the crude. The cost of exporting and importing, the shipping, has added a cost that will make it very high. And you know, we also depend on dollar rates. Now dollar is over 900. So what do you expect? Now the oil marketers are already agitating for increase. Now there's no way we can have a fall in the price of petrol with the subsidy removal if the refineries are not privatized. And I've always encouraged that before the total withdrawal of subsidy, there ought to have been about 4 refineries that are working in Nigeria, owned by individuals, not by government. We can the government should say to invite the likes of the rich people to come and buy. There's no government business in refining. When Buhari came on board in 2015, he refined, he started the Warri refinery then. About 6 months after it was working, about 3 months, it stopped working. It shows that there is either the bureaucracy or the corruption that is not making it to work. But I can assure you, if Dangote starts working, it will start working. If you sell the same refinery to an individual, a successful businessman, it will work.
Well, let me quickly quote what the minister is also saying here. He has also said that, not the minister, rather, the head of NNPC also said that, I want to quote him correctly now, he said Port Harcourt refinery will come on board by the end of the year. He also added that 2 other facilities in Warri and Kaduna will start processing crude between the first quarter and end of 2024.
Well, let's...
does not also not give Nigeria any hope at all?
That is just political promises. That is not realistic. You see, it is not realistic because you know that all these are political promises. They are not, it's not manifesting. And if you know the untold hardship now, currently the total withdrawal subsidy has cost the citizens, it's unbearable.
But are you also convinced that even when we have these refineries working, then the what we refer to as hardship on the part of Nigerians, occasioned by the removal of subsidy, do you think it will also go?
Naturally. Initially, when it starts, it might not really have effect, but later it will start coming. When competition are drawing, when we have, if you are able to have about 4 or 5 refineries working, naturally the price of petrol will drop.
Despite the international market, because they said it's going to be by international market forces.
No. The market forces within this country would dictate how. If you have Dangote working, that would be in Lagos. If you have one in Port Harcourt, we have in Warri, and if you are able to have about 5, it's working. Then, if your price is high, if Dangote price is high, and if it's not well refined, now quality of the product will not come in. Second will not be price of the product. So competition will not set in, and if competition will not set in, price will naturally start dropping.
I asked you that because special advisor to the president on media, Julie, has also said that even if we have all the refineries working, the price may not change.
It will change.
Saying that, trying to convince Nigerians that
it might not add to the raw materials. We have the raw materials, so we should enjoy it. It's a natural thing that came to us. We didn't deposit the crude there. The crude is deposited by God. It's a natural thing. So what you have from God should be enjoyed by the citizens. So we should have a lower price. And I hate hypocrisy. And that is why in 2011, when we talk about total withdrawal of subsidy, some people came up to say, Occupy Nigeria, that they cannot withdraw subsidy. That is a deceptive statement that to say there's subsidy. So now why subsidy is pure hypocrisy. And that is political. We don't talk about that. But the reality is that if we have refineries and we have them all working, if you have about 5, 6, naturally price will drop. Because let me tell you why it will drop. And what Aburi does not understand, Aburi does not consider the cost of shipping the crude and the cost of reshipping. Another thing is the byproduct from crude alone can create job for millions of Nigerians. If you do some search, you understand that the byproduct are being used even to produce all this preform. So now, if a company, most preform companies are not here; they are being imported. If we now have a refinery that has generated a byproduct, which that byproduct will ever bring another raw materials for another company. So that means the company will be located close to the refinery because they are going to get their own raw materials from there. So that will have created economies of scale within that environment where the company is located. And aside from the economies of scale, it will have created a lot of jobs.
Refineries, but you have also said that that should not be the way to go. It's about giving the licensing to some people, business-oriented people, who can also build their own private refineries. I think it would also take a longer time for anyone to start building refineries by now, when you take into cognizance the experience from Dangote refinery.
Yeah, that is very correct. My argument is this: before the total withdrawal of subsidy, these things ought to be taken into cognizance. You see, government business is about the welfareism of the citizenry. It's just like me as a father. I will continue to subsidize my child until he graduates from the university. And immediately, as a father, some father will not give subsidy the moment you are going for NYSC. He said, start your own. I withdraw subsidies totally. But some parents will still keep subsidizing, that probably the payment is low. The NYSC allowance is low. And for me, before we withdraw subsidy, we need to take into cognizance ABCD. One, Dangote refinery ought to start working before total withdrawal subsidy, because we know our economy revolves majorly around oil. Now, if that is done, we ought to have given licenses to about 4 or 5 people, which their own refinery is under construction. Now, these have not been done. Total withdrawal, we still have to depend on the importation. You know, that will naturally increase prices of goods and services and commodities in the system, and that will bring about a very high rate in inflation and reduction in the standard of living of the people. And that is what we have witnessed, because the salary is fixed, income is fixed, and expenditure is increasing. And that is that there's an inverse relationship between your income and the expenditure. Your expenditure is you need 10,000 naira to buy a bag of rice or fuel for a week or a month before. Some people buy 2,000 per week before, 2,500 per week. Now you need about 40,000 to buy that same petrol, and your income, your salary has not been increased. Then even the business women, their own income having increased and their expenditure is increased. Then the implication is that your consumption, what you can eat, will reduce.
I would now subscribe to this issue of salary increment.
That is it. They are naturally now the government have to do that. The government.
Don't you think that will also lead to inflation?
Of course, there's inflation already, and every day.
Maybe we say hyperinflation.
Inflation. So there's inflation already because as it is, government have no choice than to increase the salaries. The people cannot cope. It's
The
difficult.
ripple effect will also be there because when government increases salaries of workers now, then other prices in the market will also go up.
Practically now everything is on the increase. The salary increase have no more effect than the price in petrol. They have the increase.
Talking about purchasing power.
The increase in petrol is about 200 to 300% to 200 between 200 and 230% increase. If the purchasing power now increase, people now have more money. But that their expenditure has increased in the last few months. So they don't have more purchasing power because practically now people have been able, their expenditure has increased and income hasn't increased. So it cannot have any effect again. People are just.
Don't you think the market people will also will further increase prices of goods at the market?
They cannot. The increase cannot be more than this. The salary will not have any effect. The salary increase will not have any effect because let me tell you practically now. If you want to agree with me, it is those that buys. Everybody has cut their expenditure. Everybody, go and check it. Like me now, when I take my car out, I park. I don't go out unnecessarily. I don't travel when it's unnecessary. Except it's important, that's when I have to go. Because I have to put ABCD in place. Then, now if there's salary increase or income increase and I have to travel again, that means the people that sells along the road, that sells yam, that sells plantain, that practically the people passerby buys from, their sales has reduced. So with the income, their sales will increase. That means I can now go and buy. It's like I have denied my children of consuming probably ABCD. Then I can also let's increase the rice we eat in this house because my salary has increased. But it is not my salary. My consumption now is not going to increase more than what I've been taking before. It don't. But because practically a lot of people, Yorubas, now as it is, just simple, even your staffs and around your colleague, ask. You see, they manage. It has come, this fuel subsidy removal has taken us back to the military era when it is 101, when people cannot eat 3 square meal. So if their salary increase now, it will only take us like when Obasanjo came and had minimum wage to 3.5. There's total withdrawal of subsidy. The action they ought to take and the negotiation they ought to have, they didn't do that. Highly disappointed in them. Now, having said that, it is only irrational for anybody to say we shouldn't remove subsidy. But what some of us are saying is that the modalities, things that ought to be in place were not done before the withdrawal. It is right. Nobody can, the economy cannot continue to run without the total, without subsidy payments. No. But what we are saying that things were supposed to be in place. It is not after the withdrawal of subsidy that we are saying that we are giving 5 billion naira to state to go and distribute to them. Will
that not be enough to cushion the effect?
Have you been given part of it?
No, the government is in the process of it out.
Then is it not going to be political?